Welcome back to our Coaching Network again. I am Pat Curran. Today we are talking player safety, and we've got Tony and some coaches here, Coach Perry and Coach Carter, to talk a little bit about Guardian caps. Tony, I'll let you take it from here. I'm jealous. Adam's just sitting on the course here, but Tony, I'll let you kind of intro here and take it from now.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. And again, thank you for the opportunity to for us to give you guys the pitch. And luckily, we have two current customers here with us to just give their feedback and experience from the coaching side. Obviously, it's different coming from a sales guy. So to hear it from two coaches that have used them at they've each used them at two different schools, brought them with them to the next one. So Coach Carter, if you don't mind, just firing us off with feedback on how the caps have been going.
Yeah, man. So I've used these things since 2016. We've had them every place I've been. We went from Valdosta to Creekview to Grayson, which was top 20 in the country, now to Lowndes, which is South Georgia. And I've had them for our guys at every spot, man. And I can tell you this, and I don't know what the scientific part is because that's out of my pay scale, but I'll tell you this, we run through a pretty physical practice, and we had 0 concussions or head injuries all spring practice for the last couple of years. I believe in them. Our kids have bought into them. I get our booster club to buy into the fact. That's one of the first things, Tony, that I ordered when I got this job was it was go ahead and get with you and get those things ordered. So I believe in them. I think that it helps our kids tremendously. And anything I can do, that adds any kind of safety to our kids, I'm going to do that. And so, again, man, if you have any questions about them, or, from a kid's perspective or a selling point for a booster club or your admin, whatever you got, feel free to contact me. I think Tony's going to give you all my email address. But again, I'm a full believer. I think that they help our kids. They help us practice more physical and stay safe. And I'm going to have them wherever we go.
That's perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Coach. Yeah. I've got Coach Carter's email listed on the PowerPoint. So if anybody has any questions, they'll shoot you a note. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on. And if y'all need anything, let us know.
Go Birdie 18.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm close.
I was going to say, how you shooting today?
Well, listen, my score, we're going to lose the scorecard when we leave, but me and the brother-in-law, we just swinging sticks is all we're doing.
There you go.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks,
That's perfect. Well, yeah, obviously the Coach Carter's email and Coach Perry's emails on the PowerPoint. Coach Perry, you might follow that up and kind of give feedback on the couple schools that you've used them at?
Sure. I attended a coaching clinic, I think in Georgia, in either somewhere around 15 or 16, and thought it was a great idea. And my first thought was not necessarily concussions. My first thought was save the paint on the helmet, till Friday night and the decals and the wear and tear and all that. So we bought enough at Pearl to, put them on our top, 40, 50 players or what have you, and mainly in the trenches. And then, it wasn't long, the school district kind of looked at it and what are they? And we kind of explained it to them, and the school district ended up buying them for everybody else. So we ended up everybody having a Guardian cap 7 through 12. And, in all the years we used them at Pearl, we had 1 concussion the entire time there, and that's through, in 2016 and 17, we played 16 straight games each year, and then 18, 19, 20, we had 1 concussion, and it was a face mask to face mask lick that, there was nothing the cap could do about that, So then we, retire from Mississippi and move to Nixa. And, my first thing is the Guardian caps. So we order them and they come in and we start to put them on the kids. And I get a hold up from the admin that, they wasn't sure about them. They didn't know what they were. My guess is we probably brought them to Southwest Missouri. So then, you guys had to help us, get our admin on board as to the safety of them. And it didn't, I knew the safety of them, having been, coaching already for 26 years, like I knew how many we were having before, how many we were having since. So, we was able to get the admin on board, and we've worn them for 3 years here, and we've had one in 3 years, and I'm not real sure how that one happened. Like, I don't know, like, I don't even know. I didn't see it. I don't know it. It was a post-practice deal. He might have bumped his head on the locker. I'm not sure how it happened, but I can vouch for, the Guardian caps are fantastic. And in this day and time, when we're trying to make our sport as safe as it can be, so that mamas don't mind sending their kids, when we show up at our parent meeting and we tell them what the Guardian caps are, what they cost, why we put them on our kids, all it is added value to our parents, on top of the safety, because we only have so many players in high school. We can't go recruit more players. So we've got to keep the guys we have safe, and concussions has turned into a really big deal, as it should be. So if you can put these on and reduce your risk at all, you're foolish not to. And like Adam said, you can reach out to me anytime you want to. We've been using them for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever. And they are absolutely fantastic, and we will not go out and practice without them. It doesn't matter. We take them off to play the game. We put them back on as soon as they get back in. And I've often wondered why we can't wear them during the game. Like, I'm about ready to try that and just see what they do, because I don't really understand. We've always worn them in jamborees, scrimmage games, and it's never been an issue. Now I'm not sure what would happen on Friday night, but we're about ready to try that. But they are fantastic. We are gonna always use them. Just ordered 50 more different colors for offense, defense. So we're very appreciative of the Guardian caps and how they have made football safer, for our kids and our parents. Thank y'all for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's huge. And, we appreciate the support and the feedback. Thank you.
And I got a question for you, John, and I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but this is something I was going to ask you, Tony. As you talked last time you were on with us about, like, not obviously protecting players. That's the massive most important thing here, but also protecting the helmets and repair and having to buy new ones. I don't know, John, if you have numbers or things you can speak on that end, or Tony, if you've got any information, but I think definitely secondary, not even close, right, to protecting players. But like, from a monetary standpoint, like, you also are protecting your helmets and those investments.
No doubt about it. I mean, you have to recertify your helmets every 2 years. So, if we have 175 helmets, I can guarantee you they're not all going back every single year, because, our Rydell guy goes through and he's like, there's no reason, there's no reason in this going back. And, you're talking about a really large expense. So, I mean, you are cutting down on the number of helmets that go back every single year, which is probably getting into the thousands of dollars with reconditioning. And that was, like I said, that was the original purpose why I bought them in the first place, was to save our helmets, to save on reconditioning, to use it as a tool, to help us save money. And then the safety factor came in, and, I guess at first I was kind of, but after using them, there's no doubt that, they make for a safer ball game, a safer practice, and everything like that. So, that was secondary for me, which obviously now that's the primary reason.
Yeah, that's perfect. I maybe piggyback on that a little bit. We have had some, on top of maybe not having to send them into reconditioning every year, but as those helmets are getting more and more expensive, you got more moving pieces, moving parts, trying to absorb some of the blow like a Guardian cap does. You're just helping protect those little moving pieces, and you're not getting as many rejects year to year. So helping save some of as those helmets get more and more expensive. I mean, that's that could cost a pretty penny for sure. Great question.
Yeah, something I talked about, and I had somebody ask me about it the other day. So that's why I wanted to include that in this piece. And I didn't know if John had any info. That was great, though.
Another piece is chrome helmets. Those things get beat up pretty good, just the paint. So we've had some program, they don't have to get repainted every week, or not every week, but less often, protect the paint. So Awesome. Thank you, Coach Perry, for joining us. You know, we appreciate that for sure. And then I'll go ahead and get into kind of our pitch. You know, if there's any other, this is why we do it. Feedback from coaches like Coach Carter and Coach Perry. You know, we have hundreds of coaches that we could call and join us on this webinar, and that's why, you know, that motivates us the most. You know, especially getting that trickle down to youth. I think that's kind of been our goal all along is, you know, there's millions of youth football players. Let's start reducing some of that blow as young, you know, when they're starting at 7 years old all the way through, because hopefully not only is it helping that practice that week, that year, but that entire career for that athlete, the more impact you can reduce, because it is, you know, a lot of that research is showing that it's that accumulation of impact. So that's what keeps us going. And, you know, we can certainly, if there's anybody listening that wants a coach in their area to talk to, you know, we certainly try and set that up. And, you know, if you reach out, we'll have our email listed at the end. And we'd be happy to connect anybody and everybody. So kind of get into the sales pitch, if you will, but just an overview about the product. So obviously a soft shell helmet cover, it's one size fits all. So no matter youth to college, same Guardian cap, there's 4 straps that fly through the face mask and snap back to itself. And then a Velcro strap in the back that pulls tight depending on the size of the helmet. So that's what really makes it that one size fits all. Big difference between some products in the past is the independent movement. So it's not locking down. We've got elastic straps right here so that the cap moves independently from the helmet. So not only are you absorbing some of the blow, but also deflecting it. You still have that deflection, deflect a bit, and then taking some of that impact away, you know, with that independent movement as well. Easy on, easy off. Takes about 30 to 45 seconds to put on, maybe another 30 seconds to take off. I'd say most programs are putting them on before practice Monday, keeping them on all week, and then take them off before, after walkthroughs type of thing. It's quiet, so you don't have that crack of the helmet. Noise is a known headache trigger, so we've even had some college linemen say they don't have those daily headaches because you don't have the sound and the, you know, reducing some of the blow as well. Like we've talked about, obviously preserves the helmet. You know, that's a big piece, big feedback from coaches. Lightweight, so it's about 7 ounces. You know, it looks a lot heavier than it is. You know, there's not a whole lot to it. And it's evenly distributed over the whole shell. So, you know, the kids may make fun of each other for a practice or two, but then they forget it's there and it's business as usual. And that's our goal. Hopefully it adds a little awareness that, hey, let's keep our head out of it. Obviously tackling technique is still key. Hydration, nutrition, it's all part of the plan to help keep that athlete safe. And, you know, we feel like we're a pretty important piece of that. Bottom right, you can kind of see some of our college customers. So happy to send this over, but obviously some key ones: Alabama, UGA, Texas A&M, Clemson's been using them since 2013 on their interior guys. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, you know, Purdue, Penn State, Indiana. So the list goes on, and we can send a college map with more information there as well. And then obviously I think I'll do a little, here's another testimonial. The impact severity was, I forgot I've got it up on two things. So I've got a video.
Each and every time we put the Guardian cap on, the impact severity was reduced. And overall, when we looked across all the helmet models, we saw that if one player was wearing the Guardian cap or one helmet was wearing it, we had a 10% average reduction in impact severity. And if we put it on both helmets, we sort of get double the benefit. We saw that there was a 20% reduction.
I will always act in your best interest, particularly as it pertains to your health and safety. I'm morally obligated to keep this damn group safe, and I promise you, you're gonna get that commitment from me.
Basically a soft layer of padding that you can see that fits over the shell of the helmet. And it's meant just to absorb force. So it fixes to the helmet with some of these little Velcro straps that you see. And the idea is that when the helmet is struck, that you've got a force reduction. You're talking about 12 to 14 ounces. As you can see, it's really flexible material. So it's a negligible amount of weight.
I am 100% pro Guardian Cap. In the world we live in today, where there's more science, there's more knowledge, sadly, a player passes away and they use their brain to see what's maybe going on in there, and you're seeing a lot of CTE. I'll be wearing it all season long in practice, and that's an option. I think they come off after the second preseason game. But I think it's a fantastic thing that the NFL has done. If it gets it 10%, 20%, 30% better, I think every player would say, sure, let me wear it. Because I don't notice it in practice. I don't feel the difference. I enjoy it.
The biggest difference I've noticed in my day of playing and now is just, the awareness. There was awareness about concussions and safety, but like now we're actually doing something about it in all levels, from high school out to NFL. This is my 4th year as a head coach here at Pace Academy. And the big thing for us was just losing kids because of the whole concussion syndrome kind of, started. Parents were a little apprehensive about kids playing. And then once we start winning the Guardians, we picked up 5 to 6 kids every year because now parents have a sense of protection, safety for their kids. And I don't blame them. I have a son, and when he starts playing, I want to make sure he's totally protected. Nothing's 100% because it's a high collision sport. It's a very physical and violent sport, but having the Guardians is giving not only the parents, but also giving me a peace of mind. And kids actually, they've gotten used to wearing them. They thought they were kind of corny looking at first, but they know you're going to wear them. It's going to be for your protection. And it's paid off for us pretty big.
And so obviously just some more feedback from, people that are using them. And that the first, that was Dr. Jeff Crandall who started that off. He does all the testing for the NFL out of BioCore Labs in Charlottesville, Virginia. And big reason they continue to test Guardian Caps is because UVA had been using them for several years. They had great feedback from the coaching staff, the sports medicine staff. And that's really when they took that next step to dig in and really start recommending the caps for the NFL. And that was a big part of, so 2019 is when they validated with that extra testing. 2020, they said they were permitted. There was a lot of red tape around the NFL about the language. They wanted to recommend it. That verbiage couldn't really get through, so they permitted it. And then we had one team use them. 2021, they continued to recommend them in the off season, try to educate people on what they were. We had 6 teams that used them. A couple was the sports medicine staff and the coaching staff. I wouldn't say forcing or mandating them, but putting them on their guys, having their guys wear them. And then I know the Panthers were one team that it was optional, but the players took it among themselves, took a look at the data and started wearing it on their own. And then March of 2022, they continue to test them, continue to get feedback from the teams that were wearing them. That's when they mandated them in March of 22 for O-line, D-line, linebackers, and tight ends through the second preseason game. And then, as you can see, after that, it exceeded their expectations. So previous 3 seasons in that time frame and position groups, they averaged 23 concussions a year. And then this past year with Guardian Caps, they had 11. And then I think 5 or 6 of those were impacts to the face match, which obviously we nothing can really do anything about. So great feedback from the NFL. Let's see what we got. Again, just overview of, we've got over 500 youth programs, about 3,000 high schools using them across the country. Obviously, I think we have about 48 of the top, or of the 60 some Power 5 teams. So the majority of Power 5 programs have been using them. And then I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so just again, some more testimonials, obviously coming from me, it's not as impactful, but some athletic trainers. Oklahoma State's head athletic trainer, Scott Parker. And they started with O-line, D-line. Now they've gone to all position groups that are getting multiple impacts throughout the practice. We all understand it can't prevent or eliminate the risk of concussion, but believe it's worth it to protect our players by reducing the impact of multiple subconcussive blows to the head throughout practice. And then TCU had a similar, I don't know if I can see it. TCU's athletic trainer as well. Key takeaway from there, common sense, adding this extra non-invasive layer to the helmet lessens the amount of force generated head-to-head or head-to-ground impacts. While there's no way to know how many concussions we have prevented, we definitely believe in the product and will continue to use it on our players. So, on top to add to that as well, head-to-head, head-to-ground, helmet to knees, soft tissue injuries. So, I don't know if I'm on the screen, but helmets and knees and hips and QBs not breaking their hands. The Rams in 2021, the Rams had them in stock. I think we had 23 teams that purchased them and left them up to the players. That was the year 6 actually wore them. The Rams had them in stock. Stafford hit his hand on a helmet. Next day, they're on Guardian caps. So obviously helping protect, that QB, the valuable QB's hand, but hopefully they're also helping the O-line and D-line from an impact reduction standpoint as well. And then on the left side, so the NFL was getting a lot of questions about the Guardian caps, so they put on a webinar. Dr. Alan Sills, the chief medical officer, Jeff Miller, EVP of player health and safety, Dr. Jeff Crandall, who spoke about, and then Reggie Scott from the LA Rams sports medicine staff, and Ron Corson from UGA's sports medicine staff. So it's about 35 minutes. So if you enjoy watching webinars, if you enjoy learning, it's there's great information there. Again, the big thing is people always ask us how we got the NFL to wear them. I can tell you, it wasn't our sales team. They did the testing on their own, and they found that it made a significant improvement, and they pushed it from within. So it wasn't our sales team. I kind of head up the sales team, so it definitely wasn't my guys. Getting the NFL in them. So that's the biggest thing is their belief, and obviously the feedback's been great. They expanded the mandate this year to all contact practices, and added running backs as well to the position groups. So you'll see a lot more this July.
Is that all contact practices all throughout the season?
Yeah. So preseason and regular season.
I know they don't do a whole lot of contact during the season, but for sure that's helpful, right?
Yeah. You never know. I'm not sure what their numbers were on injury rates during the season last year, but obviously seeing the 23 to 11, why not? Is probably the mentality there.
No doubt.
Some of the most recent research, obviously the NFL's BioCore, put out a peer-reviewed study showing the average harm head acceleration and response metric was reduced by 9%. I think it was upwards of 23%. So up to 23% reduction of harm. That's the study that led to the permission and recommendation and eventual expanded mandate. And then there was another recent one from Stanford where they showed, let's see, move this out of the way, average of 25% reduction in harm at 3 meters per second, 18% at 5.5 meters per second, and an average of 10% at 7.4 meters per second, which is phenomenal. I mean, that high impact velocity, that's a pretty high speed. So for an average of 10% there, and an average of 25% at the lower speeds, just further validates the product. So we do have a couple of different options from a pricing standpoint. So our latest version is the XT, and I don't know if we can really tell, but basically same impact reduction, but the attachment method is a little different. The XT is a little more durable. So the snaps have Velcro around them, and then also a rubber flap over top. And then our previous generation, which is the Gen 2, is just a bare snap. So you can kind of see it in the image. The XT is definitely more durable. If a face mask catches that snap on the Gen 2, it has a tendency to pop off and break, on occasion. And so you can kind of, it's more affordable, obviously from the durability standpoint. One of the XTs is $70, and then the bulk pricing is in the $54 to $60 per cap range. And then Gen 2, one is $50, and then again in that $34 to $40 per cap. Any questions about anything, you can reach out to sales@guardiansports.com if you want the research, if you want a map of our college customers, if looking to get more feedback from current customers, current athletic trainers that have been using them. We'd be happy to give you all any and all information that can help. I think that's, yeah. So obviously the research there as well.
Any questions before we go here? That was great. You added some stuff from last time for sure. The testimonials were incredible. Now, you might have to add those testimonials to your testimonial video.
Yeah.
From the-
Good point. Good point.
I had a couple of those questions that you answered already. Any other questions from the coaches on here? Going once, going twice. Tony, any last things to add here before we head out?
I always try and end with, the feedback we get from coaches like Coach Carter and Coach Perry is what motivates us to keep rolling. Obviously the NFL validation has been helpful the last couple of years, but we've been on the field since 2012 and continue to get great feedback from coaches who use it. I know there's pushback on different areas, whether it's a looks or adding something to the helmet, which we can certainly talk through. But coaches that use them, like them, bring them with them to their next schools. And that's what keeps us going.
I love that. And, at the end of the day, why we bring guys like you on is to talk about protecting players, and it helps our coaches at the end of the day, right? They want to help their guys, their players. And so that was great stuff. Really appreciate you jumping on with us, Tony.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pat.